Welcome, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the R&R CatCast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley, joined with my co-host, Ryan Thornburg. We are the Ryans, the R&R of the Big Sky Podcast Network, the Montana State affiliate, and we have a awesome sponsor, Gear Up Sports. Gear Up Sports is a Bobcat-owned company providing uniforms for youth sports teams. If you're a youth or high school coach and you need uniforms or player packs, please contact them at www.gearupwithus.com and make sure to mention the R&R. And if you're just part of a company and you need some company swag, they have that line. I think you guys could check them out and then
tell them the
Gear Up
Ryan
Sports
sent you.
Yeah, they have the line of the Catterdays. They have the If you really wanted some R&R swag, we have a R&R shop there, and I know it's like a dream of mine, Thorny, to walk through, as we say, the wild and see somebody with an R&R hoodie on, or a golden coolie here or there. That'd be so cool.
Have you not seen that?
Not in Spokane.
I know you've ran into people that have heard of the podcast, right? I feel like you've shared that before.
Yeah, I probably have. It's been a while, so that'd be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, probably not going to happen out here in my neck of the woods, but you never know.
Yeah. All right. Hey, well, thanks for joining us, listener. So we're coming off the heels of Montana State going 3-0, coming off 41-24 win against Maine, the Gold Rush game this year, which is weird. It was our third game, and it was our first game at home. That in itself was kind of odd, but Montana State sitting at 3-0 going into week 3 is a really good thing. We're in perfect position right now. We'll talk about that a little bit, but just kind of the show rundown. We'll get into some news. The new Stats FCS poll came out. We'll talk an award. There was an award given this week for a Bobcat. Then we'll get into the stats. We'll talk about Coach Vegan's presser, because I did watch that today. It was pretty good. Although he did not have a pocket square. I was a little bit disappointed, but I have another thing, Coach Vegan, to do.
The test to see if he's listening. The pocket square.
Got an alternate route for him. Plan B if he doesn't want to go pocket square. And then we got a mess golden coolie questions.
Sounds good. Well, that'll probably be the brunt of it since we don't have a game preview since it's bye week. So we'll have time to answer some coolie questions and get into them.
Kind of cooking up some stuff for bye week too.
Yeah, we got a few things.
Yeah.
In stirring around. Whatever that means. I'm tired. Stirring around, just stirring all over the place. Trying to make like something simmering. I was trying to go with some sort of analogy about making a soup, and I botched it pretty bad.
You just stay away from chili analogies this year.
Oh yeah. That was. We had a good run. We had a good run with the chilies, but now it's just one chili, as the good Lord intended.
No mixing chilies.
All right.
Let's talk about what's in our golden coolies, Thorny.
All right, let's do it.
What's in your golden coolie?
What's in your golden coolie is sponsored yet again by Wilbur Ellis. Go see Shea Richter and Company up in Fort Benton for your farming and fertilizer needs. Fully, I'm still doing my sober thing, so I'm just sipping on some black tea over here.
I like black tea. Is it hot or cold?
Oh, it's hot.
Oh, okay. I prefer mine cold.
You like iced tea?
Asian restaurant. Yeah. Yep. All right. I actually did something we used to. We used to plan and go get beers and think way more about this than we actually do right now.
To my credit, I feel like I still kept up my end of the bargain. You just eventually started giving up and just drinking Rainiers, I feel.
Yeah. Yep, that was pretty much spot on. And then I realized I only had Coors Light in my fridge tonight, and I'm like, I cannot mail this in. It's like the very beginning of the season. I cannot come to the podcast with a 16-ounce Coors Light. So went to the store and I was like, okay, it's been like, what, a couple seasons. So we re-drink the same beers over and over again. I'm like, I'm going to get something I've never, ever had. And my eye went to this beautiful blue can. It's called Octo IPA from Narrows Brewing, which is in Tacoma. And it's delicious. It is really, really good. I literally just cracked it. I'm going to get this again. Like, I will legit buy this again if I see it. I haven't seen Narrows Brewing. They had like two different, they had like a hazy, and I'm not, hazies. This, no. But the straight like West Coast IPA, crisp, clean, piney. Love it. Let's go.
See, you stepped out of your routine that you kind of got into, and now look at you. You found a new delicious beer for yourself to enjoy.
I know. It's a pleasant surprise. Octo IPA.
An IPA sounds good. I'm getting tired of tea and whatnot, but I would even drink an IPA at this point.
Buy or sell, Thornton, you're turning into an IPA guy.
Oh, sell. Oh, still not.
I thought you were like 1 foot over that fence already. So
I mean, there's like I mentioned maybe a couple episodes ago, there was that one I liked, the Bale Breaker one, and I like some juicies and some hazies. So those I can get on board with a little bit, but I still haven't found like a straight up IPA that I would ever purchase again.
All right. Okay. Well, let's get into some news. I did not see this come out, but Scotchy Humphrey, Player of the Week, Big Sky, shared Player of the Week. I searched BigSkyConference.com. This must be a social media thing. I did not get the email yet. They normally put out a weekly email. Tell me more about this story.
Scotchy Humphrey shared it with oh my gosh, the name's gonna escape me. The running back from Weber State, Bankston.
Oh no, Bankston.
Yeah, Bankston. Yeah. So yeah, Scotchy had 4 carries for 110 yards,
something like that.
Insane yards per carry. So yeah, congratulations, Scotchy. I mean, could have given it to. I mean, yeah, deserving for sure.
Yeah, 4 for 110, 2 touchdowns with a long of 79. I mean, quick work of that award. I'll tell you what.
I know. Out by halftime. That was a good half of football.
He's like, yeah, I'll take that Player of the Week. 4 touches. All right. Let's go into the Stats Perform FCS Top 25. Montana State stayed at number 6. So the first two, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Idaho ramped up to number 4. They were at 7. And then Montana dropped down to number 8. They were at number 4. So coming in after Idaho, we have Villanova, South Dakota, Central Arkansas. Southern Illinois is number 9. And North Dakota, the team that beat Montana, comes in at number 10. Sac State's number 11. They were number 8, so they dropped in the poll right there. And then, let's see, Davis jumped 3 spots from 18 to 15. Weber State jumped 4 spots from 24 to 20. And I don't believe there's any other Big Sky schools getting votes right now. Just scanning right down there. Eastern was getting votes, but you lose to Drake, that's going to...
Yeah, they should not be receiving any votes at all. Look at that.
Right now.
The very last team receiving votes, Drake.
Yeah, good for them.
They're only 1-0. That's their first game on top of all that. And Harvard is receiving votes at 0-0. They haven't even played a game.
That doesn't seem right.
Anyway, going off the rails here. That has nothing to do with anything.
All right. I think that's pretty fair. Montana State, 3-0. It's the only... I mean, they really stand out in the record-wise. If you look at the top 10, they're only team that's played 3 games. So there's a lot of 1-1 teams and 0-2 teams. I guess not a lot of 0-2 teams.
No, but Sac State's in there at 11 at 0-2. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So Montana State gaining 3 first-place votes. That's different. I think we had 1 last week.
Yep, tied with the Bison now.
Yeah. I mean, I did my power rankings, and I put Idaho ahead of Montana State, excuse me. And I think it's just kind of a phobia, not a phobia, but something I do where I really don't like putting Montana State first in polls. It just feels,
You gotta
I
let
guess I'm
go of
not
that.
that confident. Yeah, I'm just not that confident. I like having not the entire target on our back is kind of where I'm coming from as a fan. So, and I do think Idaho has played really good. Like they're looking in the short amount I've seen really nice. So
Do you think they
I had
beat
no
us right now?
trouble. What's that?
Do you think they beat us if we play them tomorrow?
Yeah, man, that's a tough one. I think we beat them at Montana State. They'd probably beat us at the Kibbie Dome. Not sure, man. That's a tough question because I feel like our defense is playing better than we were when we played them last year.
I agree with
Gosh,
that.
that's a tough question. That's a tough question. Is our offense playing as good? We don't have Julius Davis, but
I don't know. I think we beat them, so that's why I have Bobcats number 1.
buy or sell. I got a couple of these for you today. Adam Jones is our best running back.
Sell.
Still thinking it's Davis.
I do think it's Davis still. It's hard to argue with the production, though.
Yeah.
Hard to argue with the production.
Yeah. Wow, that's a tough one. That was a good one.
It is a tough one. That made me really think about that. It's really close. He's really
all right.
ran onto the scene. I'm not sure Julius Davis is busting those long touchdown runs. I'm not sure he's quite that fast.
Yeah. Give Jones a couple more games to just continue to see the feel the game flow. I'm scratching my head going, who's getting touches when Davis gets back? I 100% love seeing Davis just be the hype guy on the sideline. Him and Elijah Elliott. Elijah did not dress out for the game. Those two guys are just leaders.
Let me ask you this question. Who do you want to have the ball when the O-line isn't opening up wide holes and you need to get the yards?
Davis.
Davis is the answer for that one, I think. And we're going to run into teams that are going to be like that. It's not going to be all 7-yard touchdown runs.
Yeah, exactly. So then who do I want for the splash play? Adam Jones.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, like, different back. All right.
It's a great problem to have, decision to make.
All right. Well, let's get into the vegan presser. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the most important part first?
Of course, man.
And now, Bobcat fans, it's time for F&F Fashion Watch, brought to you by Foley and Fisher, the only two that seem to really care what Brent Vegan is wearing at his press conference.
Love it.
Coach Vegan was wearing a dapper navy suit, a white shirt with a large gray hatch pattern, accented with a shiny light blue tie with a subtle cross-hatch design. No pocket square.
All right. Sounds classy. Sounds very Brent Vegan-y.
So he did not hear us, or maybe he did hear us and ignored the pocket square. So I thought about this a lot. Because that was the first thing I was looking. And then the microphone was placed off to the side where it was covering his lapel. And it was like teasing me. But nope, no pocket square. I even went online and researched 4 or 5 different ways he could fold his pocket square. You know how he has the like little flipped up bangs he has? His little spiky front do, his you know what I'm talking about. He could literally fold the pocket square so it has points that would reflect his little spiky hairdo. It could go hand in hand, or he could go more subtle with just a square fold. You could go messy, like with the bunch. So you pull the pocket square up and then fluff it so it looks more like randomly, like you just stuffed it in your pocket. Anyways, lots of different options there for you, Coach Vegan. I think the square one would fit your jawline. I would go with that. But if you're not going to go with the pocket square, Coach Vegan, I'm going to say work the word baloney into your next press conference. I'm giving you easy one. You could call like a call. Man, that was a baloney call. You could say, I'm feeling pretty good. I had a bologna sandwich. Say the word bologna in the next press conference, and you'll know. We'll know. That will be a sign that you're listening to the R&R.
No little nose tap.
No. So either pocket
Baloney.
square, pat on the chest, lapel pat to the pocket square, or the word bologna. Hot word.
How would you feel? How would your reaction be if you came out and just at some point said pocket squares or baloney?
Oh, I would erupt. I would. Oh, man. My world would be so great at that moment. I would yell, "Let's go!"
I don't know how
I want
baloney
this.
came to mean all the meanings it has.
I feel like we're gonna play this game weekly. I want this to continue, but I want him to. I want him to go. Like I want this to happen so bad.
Okay. Well,
Come on, coach.
we
I
we
know.
have like one connection or two. Maybe we can try and get a message sent across the desk.
Yeah, like somebody suddenly could be like, "Hey, coach, I got you a pocket square. You can do this."
Mission to get
this.
Brent Vigen to wear a pocket square, 2024.
So he had some good stuff to say. I'll go into what he talked about. Let's just get right into the injuries. We sustained one major injury on Gold Rush. Looks like Brock Steele on the last play of the game.
That's
out
brutal.
for the season, man. Yeah, he was a special teams contributor. That's starting to make some waves on defense, and so we really feel for Brock Steele. I mean, especially since it was the last play, man. That's really tough. That's really tough.
Well, and then Coy Steele got injured pretty brutally a few years ago. Like the Steels, man, they just can't catch a break.
No. Stick with it, Brock. You'll come back, buddy. So some on the positive end, Burke Mastel, JT Reed, Jacob Trimble, John Johnson are looking probably for a go coming back. All the first three, maybe not John Johnson.
Yeah, I say I don't think I heard John Johnson.
It was
evaluate,
iffy.
But
one I was listening for, which he did not mention, was anything on Taki Yu. So that was, I saw Taki with like an ice bag around his knee at the very end of the game. So I'm not certain it's a big injury. If he was walking around on it with just a bag of ice there, so I'm not too worried about that. Coach said it was a cleanest game for the starting O lines of the three that we played. He said Sane Ware and Connor Moore on the inside are lethal.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that word lethal that he used. And it's true. Like to think that both Sane was not playing, Connor and Marcus were both playing tackle, move to the inside. Those guys are just moving mass. They're kicking ass and moving ass. Or moving mass.
I mean, they're both right.
Yeah, they are.
They both work in this specific scenario.
He talked a little bit about Miles Sandstead. He's pleased with his work. He said we haven't really tested his limits as far as stretching him on the field goal phase. Sandstead went to 5 for 5 on the extra points and kicked two field goals, both from the hashes, 29 and a 31-yarder. So, just building his confidence. I think that's really cool. He said, not sure where Kotzman is on his recovery and what that will mean for Miles Sandstead. I'm beginning to think that's going to be an open competition, but I really think Miles is kind of come into his own. We talked a little bit about that on the Instant Reaction show yesterday. One thing he mentioned, and this was something I hadn't heard, and I'm trying to quote him here. He says, we talked about limiting him, meaning Tommy, through the first part of the season. I hadn't heard that. So apparently he mentioned somewhere, or maybe this was something that was slipped into this was just a discussion amongst him and his staff, but they're apparently trying to limit him during this the first part of the season. I imagine up through Mercyhurst, if not up until Idaho, is something I'm just projecting. That's just Ryan Foley talking. And that made me think about what are the play calls we're allowing Tommy to do, and what are we withholding? What are we trying to withhold? Is it the run game? We see Tommy being more careful in the run game. I for one, I know a lot of us are happy with his sliding ability that he demonstrated in the last couple games. So, did you hear him say that? What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't get that far into the press conference. So did he? That was his exact words. We're limiting Tommy in the first half.
Yeah,
Is that like a
first part, not the first half.
part?
First part of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what that. Yeah. What does that mean? Limiting is it more of a snap count thing? Like, I don't think so because there's nobody else to go to. So yeah, he must be doing a little bit more vanilla or telling them to not run so much or something. I'm not sure what that means exactly.
So that made me think, and then moving on from that, he's excited about Hunter Parsons. He's progressing at the end, him and Zach Cruz. And then at the very end, they talked a little bit about the rotation of the front four on the defensive line between Alex Eckert, Zach Black. I was going to say Sebastian Valdez. Who am I missing right here?
Blake Schmidt.
And Paul Broad. There it is. So they're talking about those guys. At one point in the game, they mentioned they had 4 defensive ends.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it sounded like they moved Brody and Kenneth Iden inside. So they must have brought Parsons and Cruz on the outside then. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Talk about like a speed rush type of package. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's a third and long package for sure.
Yeah. Right on. So anyways, he kind of finished the talk with talking about just how Gold Rush was an awesome atmosphere and how we had quite a few recruits on campus for that game. We had 8 official visitors, 3 of which are already committed. Seems to me that two of those guys are booming since that.
Yeah.
So we have 2 more commits. I know we had quite a couple key Montana State basketball visitors and hopeful commits on campus, and that went really well.
Well, we got a boom from Logie like a couple hours ago.
Okay, so yeah, it was a huge weekend, and how could it not be? You come to Montana State, you're from Texas, and you get the full Gold Rush. Just imagine, just coming to Gold Rush, you're like, wow. You get to see the horses come out. You get to see the Sea of Gold, just the absolute electric energy that is Gold Rush. But then you get to go walk the campus, and you get to see the new indoor practice facility going up right next door. You get to see all these new and amazing multi-million-dollar buildings that you get to go to school and take part in. The food courts that are just unreal and just transforming the campus. It's just unreal. Like, I mean, we went to school in 2001. That was when we were freshmen, right?
Yep.
And then we were eating in North Hedges. We called it the swag. You want to go get the swag? Okay. You know, you were, I don't know if you were on the north side. I think, were you a Roski boy?
I was at Langford. So whatever the little, I did Miller, right? Was it Miller that's right there?
Uh-huh. It's just different, man. The kids these days have it so nice. And we loved it even back then. So I can't imagine saying no to Montana State. Like, if you walk the campus, see everything that's going on, get to talk to President Wadid Cruzado, get to talk to Leon, get to talk to former players, professors. How could you say no to Montana State?
You got Bravo TV star, ex-Bobcat West Wilson on the sidelines doing his thing.
Oh, man, that guy's so cool.
Hey, question related to what you're just talking about. Apparently, and I did not see this, I saw it on the game day thread, there is now an extra horse with a sponsor flag, a corporate sponsor flag being at the end of it. What do you think about that?
It's predictable. It's tossed to the side, though. I think Tomcat posted a picture of it just like discarded like by a concrete column. So
I didn't see that. I didn't see the picture. I just heard a couple people talking about it and kind of complaining about it. It's kind of lame.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, don't buy a flag, but buy the girls some like branded chaps or something. If Toyota really wants to sponsor this, get a bridle or something, or some chaps for the girls.
What about just a straight brand on the horse?
right on the ass.
Toyota.
How much will it cost for me to brand your horse?
That might be the only branding sponsorship in the history of sponsorships. And that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, you listening? Athletic department, marketing department. There's your next sponsorship. Ad sell, branding the horses.
Would it be more if it's the lead horse or the trailing horse?
Probably want the trailing horse.
Oh man.
All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we actually start talking
Speaking
about
of trailing horses, so in the post-game interview with Brody Greavy, which by far was one of my favorite interviews of the season, somebody asked him about his sack dance, and he's like, "Well, have you ever seen a footer, or is it? Oh man, I'm gonna show my not Montana-ness right now. It's the header and the footer is at the team roper."
I have no idea,
Anyways,
man.
it's
I'm
a
a terrible
rodeo.
Montanan.
Yeah, I know. I should know this. Anyways, his dance is modeled after, a calf roping duo from a guy from like Argentina or something like that.
Jeez,
So,
getting
I'm
real
like,
specific and niche with it, is he?
yeah, he's straight cowboy. I love it.
He almost fell over doing it.
He just looks scary, and I like that. Like, he just sitting there, his hulking pads. It just looks like it's part of his body. His face with his black, eye black just smeared across his face, and gosh, that guy just I was like, there's no way in hell I'd want that guy tackling me. Holy smokes!
Trying to block
He
him?
just,
No.
Man,
Now,
hug him. Like everybody
Intimidation's
else
a big
does.
part of the game, man. Love it.
There's no holding calls on Brody Greavy. That guy doesn't get holding calls.
No.
Just hug him the whole time.
No, that's why he's so tough, because he just gets mauled all the time. And
Is it the footer? What is it? I'm gonna figure this out.
okay, you go do that. Yeah, he finally got his sack. I was happy to see that. And Hunter Parsons got the first sack. Love it.
Healer. That's what it's called. The healer.
The healer.
Footer. All right.
Okay, good to know.
All right.
The more
All
you
right.
know.
Well, that's the pressure from Coach Vegan. Baloney, pocket square.
Bologna pocket square. I mean,
Let's do
you can make a pocket square out of bologna.
Oh, God. Yeah, if he comes out with that would be amazing.
Ruin every single piece of fabric it was near.
I would faint. I would literally faint.
All right, you want to get into the stats?
Stats. Dude,
The sponsorship spot that will never sell because I'm just too lazy. Who am I gonna?
Texas Instruments gonna buy it, or
Toyota. Stats
Toyota.
brought to you by Toyota of Bozeman, whatever the dealership name is. The Bobcats come out of Gold Rush winning 41-24 in a completely dominant first half. But I'll go through and read the entire game stats, which don't sound so crazy when you factor in most of Maine's was against our backups. It was 21 first downs for Bobcats, 16 for Maine. Maine ended up finished 7 of 16 on third down. The Bobcats were 4 of 10, 0 for 1 on fourth down. Seemed to be kind of is that a theme coming out here fully? Inability to convert on fourth down. Maine was 1 for 1. Maine finished with 373 total yards, 224 through the air with 1 interception and 149 yards on the ground on 34 attempts for 4.4 yards per carry. The Bobcats finished with 526 yards of offense, 182 through the air, 344 yards on the ground on just 36 attempts. So 2 more attempts than Maine and almost 200 more yards. 2 penalties on the Cats for 20 yards, 5 on the Bears for 45 yards. And of course, each team turned the ball over. The Bobcats fumbled one away, and Maine threw an interception there late in the game that was picked off by Jackson Harmon, I believe.
Yep. Another kid from Alaska.
And this is a weird one with a time possession where the Bobcats were 25 minutes and 44 seconds to Maine's 34 minutes and 16 seconds. But that's what happens when you score on 2 play drives every single time you have the ball in the first half.
There's some interesting stats I'll pile on to you. Forced 3 and outs. Maine had 1. We had 5. That's good. Road zone, Maine was 4 for 4. We were 5 for 5, each with 3 touchdowns. We'll work upon there for the Cats, right? They had 1 sack for 10 yards. We had 3 for 22. First 3 of the year. Woo! They had 3 tackles for a loss. We had 7. And they ran 65 plays. We ran 57 plays. So those are some interesting stats to end that. So let's talk about some personal individual stats. Tommy Millott went 12 for 15, 144 with 1 touchdown.
Nice.
Didn't you have a parlay with him going 165?
Yeah, I had Tommy going 165 and Adam Jones going 65. And Jones finished with 63 for Tommy. He's like, I needed another half quarter. It's all I needed.
That's Scott Tree with his POW Player of the Week. 4 touches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns with the longest 79. I'm pretty sure if he would take that, like every game, he's like, I only got to touch the ball 4 times. I get Player of the Week. Actually, he probably wants it more. Feed him the rock. We had Jared White, 15 carries, 99 yards, the long at 27. Almost hit the century mark. Yeah, Adam Jones, only 4 carries. Just like Scotchy, 63. He had 2 touchdowns with the long of 40. Ryan King led all receivers, 3 catches, 39 yards. Junior Alexander had 3 catches for 31. Ryan Lonergan had a touchdown, a 4-yard strike from Tommy Millott. Brennan Hall had 9 kickoffs for 570 yards. He punted the ball for three times for 140.
He's going to wear his foot out.
He had a long punt of 68 yards. I just thought that was something cool.
It's impressive
to talk about. Sandstead was 5 for 5 on extra points with a 24 and a 31-yard field goal. Let's go. Jordan Reed, 1 for 2. He had a 40-yard catch. Chance Wilson was 1 for 4 with a long of 34. That was a cool throw, by the way. Chance, I hope to see that guy a little bit more because I think when the lights came on, he was a gamer. Ryan Lenort led the team with tackles, 6 total, 6 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Danny Yu had 5 total, 4 solo. He had a sack, which counts for his tackle for a loss. Hunter Parsons broke the seal. He got the first sack for a tackle for a loss. He had 3 total and 2 solo. Brody Greavy had 2 total and 2 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. I'm going to throw in a couple main guys. Jahari Martin, just because. He had 8 touches for 26 yards. Peavy, their quarterback, was 18 for 31, 224, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. I thought he played pretty good. And he racked up some stats against our 2s, 3s, and 4s. So that padded those on. Let's see, Jackson Harmon, back to Montana State, had an interception. And then Marquis finally touched the ball. He got a return for 23 yards. That's a guy, I think, Marquis Johnson. I keep looking at him on the sideline. He's just so patient. I'm like, man, I just wish we could get that guy.
He
more
seems
touches.
done.
Yeah, and it makes me a little sad. It breaks my heart when I see Marquis on the side. Remember when he ran for 400 some yards against Cal
That's
Poly?
insane. A ridiculous performance. It's like if the game would have gone the entire time, Scotty Humphrey would have had a Marquis Johnson day. That's what it was. 50 yards a carry.
it just feels like we could run some sort of formation where he catches a screen pass and just let him maneuver through the middle somehow.
I mean, anything, if that's going to anybody, it's going to Taco Dowler. It's like Marquis just doesn't fit anywhere right now. And the coaching staff doesn't seem to want to have him fit in for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, all right. Anything else on the stats?
Nope.
The biggest stat is the Bobcats are 3-0, baby.
Let's go.
Feels good. Feels good. I saw there's only 2 college football teams in the country that are 3-0. It's one is Montana State, and then one is some other team I've never heard of. They must be NAIA or something. Some D3 squad, maybe. But
all right, Thorny.
Not too many teams to play 3 games, though. But go ahead.
Chew on this. My big point for today. So compare this to last year. So this year, We started off with a 35-31 win against the Lobos. We had a 31-7 win against Utah Tech. And then we just won 41-24 against Maine. Let's compare that last year. Last year, we started off 63-20 win against Utah Tech. So we played those guys already this year. We went on the road, and you were gone. This is when you were off drinking Irish whiskey and getting your face put on Irish beers.
It's true.
We lost 16-20 against South Dakota State. And we came back and we won 57-20 against Stetson, the team that stayed in, I think, Helena that day.
That's right. There was a weird travel thing with them.
The next week, we started conference play, and we took it to Weber 40-0. Sean Chambers went stem to stern, and we had a top 10 win against Weber when Weber was a top 10 program. And we cooked their goose. But then Weber was a shell of himself the rest of the year. So I'm thinking Montana State is in a better position right now than we were last year. I felt like Montana State peaked early last year. I thought Montana State played an amazing game against South Dakota State. I thought we won that game. The call at the very end got reversed. We win that game. Oh, I don't want to rehash that game. That was the best Montana State looked to me all season long. We have a ton to work on right now. There are so many coaching points that we can get into, talk about, and we're still winning. We found a way to win in New Mexico, took care of business against Utah Tech, and took care of business against Maine. Was any of one of those a really, really dominant win? I don't think so. Was there stuff to work on in every single one of them? Absolutely. I like where Montana State is right now because there's a lot left on the bone.
I mean, I think we're definitely in a better position in terms of trajectory and playoff seeding than last year. Obviously, we had a loss on the schedule last year, and we have an FBS win this year. And I think if you look back at the season, depending how it goes, if it goes the way that we hope it can, you're going to look at that comeback at New Mexico and realize that's where things really happened for the Cats. Because that was we were still dealing with the negative effects of last year, the way last year ended. We had to get that taste out of our mouth, and we were in danger of losing 3 in a row, dating back to last season. First time that would have happened, and I think you probably know the stat because I think you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but I feel the Bobcats are in a good place. I felt really good about the Bobcats last year, though, after we pasted Weber State. I was feeling on cloud 9, though.
Yeah, we had these ups and downs last year. So then we continue and we kick some butt against some lower level Big Sky teams, and then we go out to Idaho and we lose. But then we have a big bounce back. We crush Eastern Washington. We crush, I think, I can't remember.
NAU.
Davis or NAU. And then we go get our butts kicked against the Grizzlies and then lose the next game against North Dakota State. I think that loss to South Dakota State didn't hurt Montana State last year as far as seeding goes, but I think it hurt them because they felt like they had arrived.
Yeah, and I think Brent Vigen alluded to that a little bit. I think the guys just kind of we know we can do this now. We faced the beast or whatever. And we should have won. We were an inch away from winning, and then we went on cruise control until Idaho smacked us in the face, and we never responded.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's definitely not going to be that overconfidence if that was a thing last year. That's all obviously speculation. We don't really know all these things, but I don't think there'll be any of that kind of stuff this year.
And I think that's where Montana State is preaching their 1-0 mentality. I know they always do, but they came out with that heavy this year. Nothing matters except the game in front of us. They want those guys to be, what do they say, with where their feet are at?
I'm not
be
sure.
present in the 15 square feet that you have, something like that, paraphrasing. But my big takeaway is right now, 3 games into the season, Montana State is 3-0. not a dominant win on the map. You might say fully the Maine was a dominant win.
I was going to say
the
that.
first half was okay. You could convince me that was a dominant win.
If you take your starters out at halftime, it was a dominant win.
Okay, you can convince me, but there was also some stuff we could work on.
Sure.
There's some coaching stuff. There's the depth things that we can cultivate from that. And you're like, okay, like
which
for
is
instance,
huge.
Like who's going to be our quarterback number 2? Tommy goes down. Like that's a big issue to me right now. It looks like Chance Wilson. Jordan Reed did not look like he was ready for the spotlight. Chance Wilson looked like when the lights came on, that guy's a gamer.
Well, they're never going to let Jordan Reed throw the ball.
Yeah, then maybe he's in the wrong system. Like I hate to say that. So many people texted me, and I don't want to give away to this. They're like, I don't think Jordan Reed's going to be on this this roster come this spring. I think he's going to transfer. I don't want to hear that. Like, who knows? Maybe Jordan's parents listen to this podcast. I have a ton of respect for Jordan Reed. He's been biding his time for a long time. Yes, if Montana State calls a couple plays for him to pass it down, but they did. They called that they called a bootleg right there or a play action fake, and they just wasn't fast enough at it. It just didn't come fast enough to him, and that's something that's like you can't deny that. You can't say, well, you didn't give him another one. He only had what two passes or something.
Yeah, 2. 1 for 2.
I know it feels unfair. It feels unfair. Like he just didn't get a shot.
And he doesn't get to play behind the first string offensive line or work with anybody else in the first string when he's in either.
Yeah, but when your time comes, you gotta go. You gotta go. That's what Tommy did, and he captured it, and then he didn't let go. And sometimes it just like I think when it comes to being like a quarterback in a number 3 team in the nation, you can't just ease your way into it. You just got to take it. I don't think Jordan Reed is going to take it.
No, I mean that's not a terrible assessment. I'm not ready to write anything off, and I'm not ready to say that the Bobcats won't go towards a more prototypical type quarterback in the future. Just because that's what we've been rocking the last 6-7 years or whatever doesn't mean that's what's going to happen forever.
Yeah.
We're working with the personnel that we have. Tommy will be gone, and they'll have to make a decision if they want to have a guy like Tommy with Chance Wilson or if they want to take it in a little different direction.
Yeah. Jordan Reed showed me a lot last year. In the times he got in, he could sling it around. I was really happy with his arm. I just don't think he sees the game as quickly. He doesn't process the game in the game speed that I think he needs to at this moment.
Maybe not. That's what the reps are for, though.
Yeah, and I think that's where Chance feels like more ready because you're like, he just has the legs to escape it. So like if the thing is not coming, if he's not seeing the field, he's just going to rely on his legs. And it looks to you and me like, oh, he's just making a play. Whereas, Reed might be sitting in the pocket trying to go, what's going on? And I'm a little late. Dang, I just took that sack. So it doesn't help that Jordan Reed fumbled the ball away on his second play. And then they went down and scored. It was bad. It was a bad moment to start off the second half.
It's funny, like all 3 Golden Coolie questions on Twitter are all about Chance Wilson and Jordan Reed.
Let's get into him.
I mean, the Rob Cat basically asked us, Chance Wilson looked fairly settled when he was put in and was able to make some splash plays. Do you think he moves up to second spot on the depth chart? I don't think he does, based on that. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying I don't think Vegan bumps him down.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think a lot will be decided in these next 2 weeks.
Joshua Eckert asks us, pretty much with the blowout in the first half, we got to see both Reed and Wilson play. Obviously, the second half wasn't a fair assessment of their abilities, but Reed looked a little rough, and Wilson had a fun completion. In y'all's opinion, is the next QB going to be one of those two or Vegan? Now, is he talking about Grant Vegan? Is Grant Vegan a quarterback?
Yeah, he is.
I thought he came here to play like linebacker or something.
That's his brother. His brother plays on the defensive line.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's what we were just kind of talking about. We don't know who's going to be the next man up. I don't know. I would almost argue it's going to be none of the three.
Yeah. Let the cream rise to the top. One thing we can't do is what the Grizzlies are trying to do right now, and that's kind of just like see who's going to rise to the top. I think, and I agree with the Nuanez brothers on this, anoint a starter and then ride him.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have a specific 2-quarterback system with 2 proven guys like MSU have been running, the Grizz just keep having to figure out who's going to start, and that's what bit them last year until Clifton McDowell finally took the reins, like you said, like took it.
Yeah,
one of those guys had to take it over there, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, we can't go on a roll next season, like playing Reed and Wilson, seeing who's going to take it. No, you got to have that sorted before the season starts.
Yeah, that's the main critique right there with the Grizzlies. But this is not a Grizz fan pod. This is the R&R. Let's talk the Cats.
Let's talk the Cats. Last one, Logger Cat says, I'm going to take the quarterback question a step further. With 2 weeks preparation, would it be wise to let Tommy sit this game out and give Wilson the start? Wilson or Reed the start? I'd love to see what our QBs look like behind the starting offensive line.
Yes.
And he says Wilson looks like a better fit for this offense.
I'm with you, Logger Cat. I've thought about that. Mercyhurst, we could start a second string quarterback.
I think.
Does that help Tommy? I'm not sure, but
helps him stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, what's Tommy going to do against Mercyhurst? Hand the ball off a couple times, throw maybe 6 passes, get out of the game by halftime.
Whatever it looks like, if he starts, if he doesn't, I do want them to actually come in there and run the offense for a little bit. Not be ultra conservative, not just hand the ball off. Like, have him kind of do whatever if Jordan Reed was starting against Idaho, whatever Jordan Reed's minutes are against Mercyhurst, have him play like he would be playing against Idaho. Get him some like real game situations and not just like conservative run the ball out and finish this game off. Same with Chance Wilson.
Yeah.
So if that means you have to start them to do that, then start one of them.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you. Let's go that route.
Because obviously, I think the only real question mark on this football team right now is who is Tommy's backup. What happens if Tommy goes down? I think it's the only real question, which is kind of a safe question a little bit, right? Like the worst thing we have happen is if our starting quarterback goes down. But problem is, he's shown he gets injured. And so I think all of us are just kind of waiting for the shoe to drop on that, unfortunately. It's like, no, Tommy, don't get hurt. So obviously, we need a solution for if he gets hurt. If he doesn't, great. We never have to worry about this. But you need to be prepared for it. And I don't think the Cats are in a good spot there. So get somebody some real meaningful reps running an offense like they would against a conference opponent, like they had started the entire game. Like they needed to win the game. Even if it's just a couple series like that.
Buy or sell, Chance Wilson, QB2.
I don't know enough to answer that question, so I'll just say sell, I guess.
Whoa.
I've seen him come in and throw 4 passes. I don't know. It's such a small sample size for everybody. I'm just deferring to the coach's judgment on this one.
I think I'm buying that one. I think if you actually had to like press me on it, I have to pick Chance Wilson, QB2 right now.
So we're going up against Idaho. Tommy, you got hurt in practice. Chance is your guy.
I'm sorry, Jordan. I just think he's a gamer. Not that you're not. It just was a different vibe.
Fair enough.
I hate it. I love all the players who are Bobcats. I totally understand the sacrifice. I don't know the sacrifice. I can appreciate the sacrifice that they give for the team. And I don't want to diminish anything about Jordan Reed. This is a tough decision. But yeah, I think from what I saw, my gut is saying Chance Wilson.
Fair enough. I mean, like you said, when the lights are on, some guys play different. If that's how he's going to play, it's a good start. But the thing is, the coaches see what happens when the lights are off, and we don't.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
all right. Well, Coach Vegan said at the end of the game, he's like, when the lights came on, essentially, go back to that statement. Some guys look different than we saw in practice, and I think he was alluding right to Chance Wilson.
It could be.
Yeah,
some guys are like that, man.
Into that.
Some guys are the opposite. It's just you never know until the lights are on, until the bullets are real, as they say.
It said Judith Basin Cat says, did Wilson show enough to move up to QB2? Also, how many yards do you think each of you could get running behind our offensive line right now?
Well, we had the exact same question about moving up the depth chart already on Twitter, so I don't think we need to mention that. So,
how many yards could you get in 10 carries? How many yards do you think you could get
behind our offensive line?
Yeah,
50.
50?
Yeah.
No way. Not a chance.
Oh yeah.
50 yards?
Mm-hmm. Just 5 yards to carry, man.
Are you 41 like me?
Yeah.
There's no way. No way in hell.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The first time I get tackled, I'm out of the game.
Yeah, so you're not getting 50.
But if I somehow survive 10 carries, I can get 5 yards to carry.
5 yards to carry behind our... Okay, if I can go behind
slow,
Marcus
but I
Ware,
have I'm relatively agile. Maybe not so much anymore. But I have good vision and I can make good cuts. So I can cut fast. I got a quick first step. The problem is the rest of the steps are about the same speed as the first step. So I'm not breaking anything away, but I can follow offensive linemen and fall forward for 3 or 4 yards. I could do that.
I'm getting like -4. I'm not fast. Like I'm a fast long distance runner. I don't have quick turnover. I don't have the quick twitch, as the coaches like to say.
See, I feel like I have more twitch, and you're definitely more straight line speed. I think combined, you and me combined could be a super terrible running back. But
absolutely.
Yeah. I remember playing so many like football games growing up and like in college, like with friends and stuff like that. And I can like make people miss, but I can't run away from anybody. And I probably can't do either one of those things anymore.
No, man.
It's been a long time since I tried to juke somebody.
You try to juke someone, you're going to throw out your back.
Probably.
Blow me out. Liquid 360 says no wrinkles in the press backdrop today. Maybe actually somebody listened. Those guys are talking about it.
Wasn't even a question. I just saw that. It's just a statement. I love it.
Roger Fisher says, has Sandstead earned the starting place kicker spot, or do you think it will go back to Kotzman? I know very little about football, but Sandstead kicks seem higher and less likely to get blocked than Kotzman's. Of course, I don't know what progress Kotzman has made in the offseason. We kind of talked about that at the very beginning. I think it's up in the air. I think that if Sandstead is continuing to hit field goals, you don't take him out, no matter what. You don't bench him. You just ride the hot hand with the field goal kicker.
Yeah, I mean, such a mental game as we saw last year. I think that was part of the problem. Both Hall and Kotzman just kind of had the mental side of it kind of go sideways on him. So if you got a guy who's kicking with confidence, I mean, it's a good question. I think Kotzman's probably a more talented kicker, but Sandstead's making the kicks. I have no idea what his range is. Like I said on the Instant Reaction show, I don't think he has a big range. You can kind of just tell, even based off his kicks, the velocity that ball comes out. I don't think it's going too far. It doesn't look like he's kicking a 45-yard field goal anytime soon, or a 50-yarder. I don't think he's got the leg.
Let's say Sandstead is like pretty solid up through, let's say, Idaho State, or who do we play right before Idaho? Well, do you remember?
I had it up. We play Northern Colorado right before Idaho.
Yeah, okay. So let's say Sandstead is just nails through those games, and then Kotzman's ready to go for Idaho. You don't pull Sandstead at that moment. You keep riding Sandstead through whenever, thick and thin. And then if he goes stone cold, and you're like, okay, Kotzman, you're in. But no, you keep riding it. You keep riding that horse until he misses. Until he has the yips and he can't make it. Keep riding that horse.
Yeah, I mean, there's been programs or other situations in football where there's like a close range guy and a long range guy. Do something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just can't take him out.
Longtime Cat says, is our O-line better than last year? D-line. Is Adam Jones going to be the best freshman running back in Bobcat history? Let's talk about the O-line. Do you think our O-line is better than last year's?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. D-line. I think our D-line's more deep than it was last year. I like the addition of Eckert. I like getting Zach Black back. I like the emergence of Paul Brott. I think all of those are a net positive by losing when compared to losing Valdez. Yeah. I think our D-line is better this year.
I think it's about the same. I think the interior small step back. I mean, you just can't lose a guy like Valdez and not have a little small step back. But I think the DNs are deeper and more talented.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty much a wash.
Does Adam Jones become the best freshman running back?
So who's even in the candidates on this list here? The guy that comes to my mind immediately is Evan Groves. He had a really big freshman season. Who else had like a really big freshman season? Like Ryan Johnson?
Yeah. Guy that went Fonse?
Oh yeah, Fonse had to have had a pretty good freshman season, I would imagine.
None of these guys are coming off like having the flash stats that Adam Jones is having. So yeah, I'd probably say we're watching maybe a generational talent in Adam Jones at running back right now. The beginning of a generational talent.
I mean, I don't know if I have the best statistical one. By the time Julius Davis comes back, we just share the rock around too much.
Ooh, that's a good question.
But I think I think he's talented enough to put up insane numbers as a freshman, but I just don't think he will based on how he play football.
Colorado Cat has two questions. The first one, I think, is a really nice one. What change do you hope to see in the team by the time we start conference play at Idaho State?
It's a good question.
What change?
Better pass protection?
Okay, I was going to go with the passing game. I'd like to see some more passes over the middle. I always want to see more passes over the middle.
Ooh, just more diverse play calling.
A screen pass. Can we do a screen pass? Quick slant.
I don't know enough about
route.
I mean, we get blitzed. I feel like we get blitzed enough that screen passes would work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
There's got to be a vacated spot that we get to hit. It just.
It seems logical, right? I mean, you and I are not offensive coordinators, but it just seems like there's a space, run a guy in that space, pass it to him. Is it that simple? I think it is, actually. I really do. It is. Colorado Cat's second question just says, just listen to the Instant Reaction show. Since obviously you're wrong about the white helmets, can you give us your helmet rankings?
Man, these are questions I need ahead of time. So you go first, I guess.
If I had to give my all-time favorite helmet, it's the 84 Cat script. Yellow, plain blue. Don't doctor it up. Just give it to me straight. That's my favorites. Second favorite for me, it's got to be gold helmet with the M. The current M that we have.
I agree with
third helmet.
Both of those.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Third is probably some version of the white with the cat logo on the side.
I just don't love the cat logo on the helmets in particular.
Okay.
Like the block M or the script cats.
Montana State could do like some subtle things with their face masks. We've talked about this. I don't want to go into this, but changing up the face mask color, give me like a little flashy gold, like a metallic gold face mask. That'd be really cool. All right.
I'm not the big uniform swag guy, so these aren't my kinds of questions.
Yeah. All right, let's see. CNC Cat says, is our kicking game or a backup quarterback a bigger concern for achieving the goal of a national championship?
Oh, good question.
Which one is more likely to derail the team?
That's just bad juju.
Don't answer this.
Yeah, I don't want to answer that. I remember last year we were talking early on. I think Shay Richter actually asked us, like, is a kicking game going to cost us a game at some point? I think we both said no, and we ended up like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to touch this.
All right. Well, for the sake of being superstitious, we're not going to.
We're skipping this one.
Yeah.
I think I do have an answer in my mind, but I'm going to opt out. Just feels dangerous. We're a little stitious here, a little superstitious.
All right. Joe, Montana State says, with a weak schedule, do Grizz fans secretly need to root for the Cats this year so the Cat Grizz game has a potential for a quality win for them?
They do. I was listening to the Grizz fan pod, and they were talking exactly like that. They need North Dakota to win, and they need Montana State to win now because they have like no other ranked games on their schedule, I don't think.
No, they have a really easy conference schedule.
I mean, obviously they'll get a top 4 seed if they win out, but getting a 1 or 2 seed, they're going to have to, the Cats are going to have to be really high up if they beat us. See, I almost said win. If.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I can't see the Grizzlies actively rooting for us. I could see some guys like kind of like silently rooting for us to be good on off chance that they'll beat us in Bozeman, but
yeah,
no.
Agreed.
The hate is just too deep there. All right. We didn't talk anything about the defense. Thorny, I got to buy or sell for you. Our defense will continue to play well.
I'm buying it, man. I'm starting to kind of believe in Bobby Daly and how he's running things here.
Yeah, me too. I'm buying that as well.
It just seems we're swarming to the ball and we're playing faster. And I think guys are kind of trusting each other.
It seems like the intangibles come up when you have a good leader. You're like, man, it looks better. Like you said, they seem like they're trusting the system better. Maybe playing more free.
Yeah. I think free is kind of a good way of phrasing it.
I think what is happening is Coach Daly's entrusting them to do what they do best. Like, you are a playmaker. Go make plays. Here's what you can work. Here's the confines we need you to work within, but we're going to trust you to make plays within these confines. I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving it.
All right, man.
We had a dominant stretch there for a few quarters.
Whew.
At least the first string.
Yeah.
And the fact that the second string is getting to play so much is only going to help us. Nothing bad can come of the second string playing more.
I love the fact that we were pestering PV. Like, that guy could not get a pass off against us. Like the starters. Like, he was flustered.
No.
Absolutely flustered.
No, he connected on the very first play to like their fullback who kind of leaked out to the side, and then he scrambled and the defender kind of bailed on it and they got a first down on it. But even then he was like running for his life and just happened to find a guy. Like, it was fun to watch.
All right. Any loose ends you want to tie up?
No, man. I feel like we almost talked more about this game on the Instant Reaction Show. We've been here for an hour, and I don't know how much of the game do we talk about, but that's okay. I feel good about it.
Yeah, sometimes the Golden Coolies take care of that for us, where we can just kind of hash it out through the Golden Coolies. It was a good conversation tonight, man.
Yep.
Turned out pretty good.
I agree.
All
right. Well, let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Do we want to pick a winner for Golden Coolie before we go anywhere?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Lager Cat from Twitter had some good ones. I can't remember which one it was, but was it?
He's the one who asked us, should we bench Tommy and let one of the backups start at Mercyhurst?
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to think about.
That is a good.
Lager Cat.
All right.
I happen to know Lager Cat has a Golden Coolie, so if you want another one, get at me. If you want me to send it to your sister in Minnesota or something, wherever she lives. I don't know if you have a sister, but pretending I will.
Or you can nominate some other fan or something that will.
Yeah, there you go.
Hook it up.
All right.
Well, thanks everyone for listening as always. Appreciate the support and just appreciate you guys tuning in every week. You can always find us on Twitter, RRCatcast. You can find us on the web, rrcatcast.com. You can find us on email. I was like, where am I going with this? rrcatcast@gmail.com. Thanks again to Gear Up Sports for being our sponsor for the 2024 season. And Foley, let's get out of here, man. Let's go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.